went to Barnes & Noble the other day, which you just saw the clips for, since they have 50% off their hardcovers, and I actually don't think I've ever bought more than 2 books at once, physical books at a store that I was reading for like leisure, for fun, outside of like classes and like textbooks and stuff like that. I typically borrow books through the Libby app, which connects with my local library. So I don't really purchase books very often, whether it's digital or printed physical books. I personally have this rule where I can only buy a physical book if it falls under the category of self-help or like faith-based books, because then I can mark it up, annotate it, and like flip through it and read it again, since I'm just not as likely to reread fiction or like romance books, which is like the genres that I typically read. But just trying to be a little bit more lenient, a little bit more flexible with myself, and occasionally, go out, kind of splurge a little bit and get a physical book. So I'm going to share the 3 books that I got, do a little haul. So we're going to start off with Elektra by Jennifer Saint. This book the cover is so beautiful. I love this color, and just like the side profile of the faces, very, very well designed. So a quick synopsis. This is a myth retelling of the House of Atreus, as it follows the storyline of 3 women and the curse of their fates. I'm like horrible with pronunciation and names, but it follows Clytemnestra, the wife of Agamemnon, and then Cassandra, who she's able to like see the future, but her curse is that no one ever believes what she says. And then Elektra, which is the daughter of Clytemnestra and Agamemnon. Wow. Just that pronunciation alone probably made you not want to read these. I'm so sorry to Jennifer Saint. I picked this one up though because I really enjoyed Madeline Miller, I believe, her Circe and Song of Achilles, 2 super popular books. So I was really excited to pick up this one. She also has another book called Adriadne, I think. Once again, horrible pronunciation. I'm so sorry. So I'm hoping to read that one after I read this one. I don't really know much about the intricacies of mythology, but I've always found the stories to be very interesting and like the myths. Circe was the first book that I had read in a really long time that had to do with like Greek mythology. So I'm really excited for this one. Might try to read it with my friends for book club since we read Circe and Song of Achilles together. If you have any other Greek mythology retellings or like recommendations, let me know. I've actually never read like the Iliad either. We didn't have to read that in high school, so maybe I'll do that one next. That one's a pretty hefty one. But yeah, so this is the first one that I got. Second book that I picked up is Mad Honey by... Hello, Editing Me is here to share that I was pronouncing Jodie Picoult's last name wrong the entire time. I'm so sorry. Her last name is actually pronounced Picot, not Picoult. Carry on. Jodie Picoult and Jennifer Finney Bolin. These are the 2 authors. I've read a couple books where it's written by more than one author together, so I'm excited to read this one. Here's the synopsis. I got a lot of it from Goodreads because I'm really bad at summarizing books, but Mad Honey follows Olivia McAfee, who was the mother of a kid named Asher and another woman named Lily Campanello, and she ends up liking Asher. So these 2 women, it follows like basically these 2 women, I believe, and they're both very familiar with like starting over and fresh beginnings, just given their background. This is just a direct synopsis quote from the sleeve, but one day Olivia receives a phone call. Lily is dead and Asher is being questioned by the police. Olivia is adamant that her son is innocent, but she would be lying if she didn't acknowledge the flashes of his father's temper in Ash, and as the case against him unfolds, she realizes he's hidden more than he shared with her. Mad Honey is a riveting novel of suspense, an unforgettable love story, and a moving and powerful exploration of the secrets we keep and the risks we take in order to become ourselves. Yeah, I've read a couple of Jodi's books, and I just have really appreciated her depth of research. I find it very easy to immerse myself into the world that she's introducing without feeling like a complete outsider who has no knowledge whatsoever of the main cast's interests, hobbies. Yeah, I believe these two move, or Olivia moves back to New Hampshire to take over her father's beekeeping business. I don't know a single thing about beekeeping other than like those TikToks that I've seen. So I have no doubt that I will come out of this book knowing at least one new fact about beekeeping, because she just does amazing research, and it's just like super in depth. The story just feels a lot more rich because you have a broader understanding of the different topics that they cover, and she's like very timely books. I feel like a lot of the books that she's written align with whatever's happening politically, environmentally. Like, she's just always very on top of delivering things that are very timely based off what's going on globally. So I'm excited to read that and be introduced to this new author that I've never read, Jennifer. Yeah, this is a thick one, and like the words are decently sized on the page, so this will be a long read, but I'm looking forward to it. And the last book that I picked up is but this one is by Lisa Turkhurst, and it's called Good Boundaries and Goodbyes. I believe she wrote this. She was going through a really tough period in her life, filing for separation with her husband of like 10 years. So she tackles really big questions like, is it unloving or selfish to set a boundary? Are Christians ever called to walk away from a relationship that's, no longer safe or sustainable? So yeah, she asks these hard questions in the midst of her own relational struggles. And she had lots of counseling and did a lot of research as well. So I'm really excited to read the snippets shared by her counselor as well at the end of each chapter. The format of this book is really interesting. She talks about different topics for each chapter, and then at the end she covers, there's like a note from her counselor about the topics that she covered, and she has a section called like Now Let's Live This, where there's like a couple bullet points on what to remember from that section, what to receive, which is usually scripture, and then questions to help you reflect, and a little prayer at the end, which helpful. Yeah, I picked this one up because looking back, I realized that I struggled with setting healthy boundaries in college, so I'm hoping that this read can help guide me if I ever need to set boundaries in the future. I think I previously approached setting boundaries through like just putting a wall up and kind of ghosting someone because I needed space, and I was just overwhelmed at the idea of having to explain that to someone. So my communication skills weren't great, clearly. So obviously that wasn't exactly the most healthy approach to setting a boundary, so I'm hoping that Lisa can teach me. I have read and own several of her books, actually, and she has a ton of wisdom to share, and I appreciate that she grounds it in biblical passages, so I've learned a lot from her, so I'm excited to read this one. And that was pretty much the entirety of my book haul from Barnes & Noble. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Let me know if you have any book recommendations. I'm always taking more. I haven't set a reading goal yet for 2023, but I'm thinking maybe 70 books. Feels a little bit ambitious. I'm hoping I have more of a social life next year, so maybe 70 is a bit much. And thanks for watching.